She was out in like 15 minutes and I heard her cry and I was just so emotional.
We're here with Sonia from the UK, living in Singapore. Sonia, do you want to maybe introduce yourself? Tell us how long you've been here.
I've been here for 2.5 years. I got married and I moved here when I was pregnant. I was 3 months pregnant. And I had Isla here, my daughter.
So you moved here when you were already 3 months pregnant?
Yeah.
Is that right? So how did that change your experience compared to maybe some of your friends that have had babies here?
I mean, it was pretty daunting, moving from like the UK to Singapore, not knowing the healthcare system. And also moving, I was quite lucky when I moved to Singapore to move into a friendship group. But my friends were very much, they were couples, we were all very coupley, but no one had children. I was the first one in my friendship group to get pregnant. So I didn't really have any kind of mom support, which is why I think what you're doing is great, by the way. But yeah, I think I didn't really have any mom support, so I found that moving here was difficult. And like I didn't feel like when I was pregnant I could go and make mom friends unless it was like yoga classes or not baby classes, because I obviously didn't have my baby yet, but yeah, it was difficult. And then also going and finding people that you really connect with is hard, moving from the UK to Singapore, because there's just so many different people here, and it's given that you're not going to connect with every single person you meet.
Especially, I guess, when you're pregnant, because you haven't got that thing that is your common interest, which is chit-chatting about your baby and stuff like that. So yeah, I found it quite difficult, and I think in the UK it's made so easy. You have like your own personal midwife, or you have a community midwife, and then I think coming to Singapore was a bit of a shock to the system. Or you have people that say this is what you do.
But I had nobody to say, go to this person, or this is how it works. It was difficult, and I had to learn every step the hard way. So yeah, I wish someone had said this is how it works, this is what happens, just so it's not so scary.
Okay, so how did you navigate that from a logistical point of view? How did you find a hospital? How did you find your doctor?
Well, when I first moved to Singapore, I was seeing someone called Kelly at the time, and she was like my prenatal physio. And I was explaining to her about all this anxiety I had about not knowing the healthcare system and what to do and who do I see. Like, I was 3 months pregnant, I didn't have a doctor out here. And she kind of pushed me towards NUH, because I also explained to her that we weren't insured. We didn't have health insurance, and anything that we were going to be doing out here we'd have to pay for, which was also quite intimidating.
Well, that's unknown, isn't it? Because it could be something that's affordable, or it could be
something you can't, and then it's scary because you don't. It's almost hard to plan the future in that sense, because then you're like, if I can't afford it, I'm going to have to go home, and then when do I go home? And
of course.
So it is quite scary, but Kelly, she pushed me towards NUH, and she said that there's like almost a celebrity gynae. His name's Prof Chong at NUH. So I went to see him, and I liked the hospital, I liked the facilities, but with Prof Chong I felt like he was a celebrity doctor at that hospital, so I felt like he wasn't around a lot, or he was at conferences a lot. So one time he wasn't there, I saw Dr. Citra, and I absolutely fell in love with her. I felt like I was her only patient. She's just amazing, from like the first time I met her all the way to delivering Isla. And I almost, whenever I said this to you last week, but whenever I meet somebody who's having a baby, I like almost immediately tell them to go and see her, because she's just amazing. She's really awesome. So I feel like she helped me a lot. I'd say the bits that I struggled with in Singapore and the healthcare system was when you have a medical emergency being pregnant, like for example, you don't feel the baby move, or you're bleeding, or just scary things. You have to go to A&E here, and it's such a wild concept, especially if you're someone that's come from the UK and you're used to just calling your midwife. You're almost like, well, why do I need to go to the A&E? Why can I not just go and see my gynae?
Would that be one of the negative things about doing the public healthcare system? Because I'm pregnant and I've had a few issues with bleeding, and actually my obstetrician, you go straight to your obstetrician. So that for me was alien.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like
Yeah.
for me, I was
Yeah,
like, what do you mean?
exactly.
Like, you can just fit me in, and they're like, we'll fit you in.
Yeah.
So I guess that's maybe one of the main differences.
Yeah, maybe that is. I actually didn't know that.
I think maybe different doctors might be different.
Yeah. Well, NUH is a government hospital, so I reckon, yeah, that's probably why it is like that. And also just getting an appointment there is so difficult.
Yeah.
And you have to wait for like 3 hours. The service is worth the wait, but I guess for people that don't have the time, it's not practical. But yeah, I just found that the whole go to A&E thing was quite hard. And then sometimes you go and I find that medicine in Singapore is quite commercialized. So they want to run a million tests on you, and they charge you for all of them. And sometimes it's not necessary.
But you're not going to say that, are you? Because you're vulnerable.
You're vulnerable, and you want to make sure you're doing the best job for you and your baby. And you, obviously, if you didn't do it, and we were just talking about this, but if you didn't go ahead and do those tests, and something did happen, you'd feel horrible. Yeah. So you almost feel obliged to take those tests. So yeah, and I remember going to A&E on multiple occasions, and like sometimes you get nice doctors, and sometimes you get some that are completely insensitive and they just don't care.
Yeah. Or a junior doctor that just has less experience than you.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I find that I mean, it's very hit and miss, but if you've got the right gynae at NUH and you're not insured, it's the best place to be.
The best place to be.
I mean, I think during my pregnancy was the only time that I had these negative experiences with a government hospital, but my actual delivery was amazing. Yeah. Like, I've already said to my husband Sam that we are staying in Singapore until we're finished having children.
Okay.
Just because I want to have them in that hospital. Yeah. I want to have them with my same gynae.
Okay, so Dr. Citra's the one.
Dr. Citra's the one.
This is not sponsored by Dr. Citra.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you're not the only friend of mine that's used Dr. Citra, and I've heard really good things.
She's amazing. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. So your top tip would be for someone trying to navigate the healthcare system if they're not an expert?
The more you kind of stay inside and not talk to people, the harder it becomes. So I think when you're pregnant, and especially if you're new here and you don't have as many mum friends, just push yourself to go out. And there's days where even once you've had the baby, like there's days where you don't feel like going out and you just want to stay at home.
Is that the majority of days?
Yeah, exactly. When they first come, but like you and I found myself sometimes being like, I don't want to go out. And I would like, and I sound like the worst friend in the world, but I'd make plans with my friends, and like it would come to the day and I'd be so tired and drained. I'd just be like, I don't want to go. I'd obviously go because it's you have to push yourself to go, otherwise you end up just staying at home. And like postnatal depression, it's a thing. It's a thing, and it's not so black and white either. As you have a baby, you get postnatal depression, you're over it. It doesn't necessarily happen like that. But I guess these are all things that you learn along the way. Yeah.
And then so you mentioned that you didn't have insurance when you moved over here.
No.
So how did you find out about insurance? How did you...
So we went to the hospital, and we were like, look, we're not insured. It's the reason why we're here at a government hospital. Because all our friends that were having children, they had insurance. So they were like Thompson, KK. Yeah.
The perception, isn't it, that private is better?
Mount Elizabeth. So we went to NUH and we got packages. So we got one package for C-section, one package for natural. Yeah. And being uninsured, the C-section one was slightly more than the natural one. But the only difference was that with the natural one, they charged extra for pain relief. So, and I was my pain threshold's terrible. So I was like, at the time I was very natural, like I was pro-natural. Yeah. I didn't want to have a C-section. So I was like, if I'm going through labour and I need an epidural, I'm getting it. I'm not going to be strong about it. If I need it, I want it.
No one gets a medal.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it however it makes me comfortable. So yeah, we were very much like, okay, well, this is my first pregnancy. I could very well go into like 16-hour labour. Yeah. And it would really rake up a bill, and it does kind of like, it scares you. And you don't know how much the bill is going to cost you. And I feel like me as well, I'm very much a planner. I like to know exactly what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. how much time it's going to take.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
absolutely.
How much it's going to cost. So yeah, that was
Mother Nature's like, ha ha ha,
No,
nod with
no.
favour.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not today. So yeah, that was like really daunting. So anyway, I was still very adamant till the very end that I was going to have a natural birth, irrespective of the costs. And yeah, I got to like 38 weeks. I had a cervix check, and it was horrific. It was the most painful, the most uncomfortable thing I've ever experienced. And I know it's not the same for everybody, but for me it just was. I just didn't enjoy it at all. And I kind of just went into my gynae the next day and I was like, right, I want a C-section. Because if I can't handle a cervix check, I definitely can't do a natural birth. So yeah, I was literally just booked in for the following week.
Was it quite like, did your gynae try and talk you around
No,
or anything
she was very
like that?
supportive. So like, I mean, she was very surprised because my whole time of seeing her whilst being pregnant, I kind of just was like, I want a natural birth. I'm going to have a natural birth regardless of anything. So yeah, I think when I went in, she kind of laughed and she was like, what changed your mind? And I was actually told when I was early on in my pregnancy to be careful going, because some doctors do push you to have a C-section, especially in Singapore.
I think that's quite well known, isn't it?
Yeah,
in the
but
mummy...
my gynae never did that. She was very much like, whatever you want, we're going to do.
Okay.
But when I went
pro-choice.
Yeah. But when I went in, she was very much like, are you sure this is what you want?
Yeah.
Like, it might be a little bit different on the day. And I was like, no, made my mind up. I've thought about it. She was like, you can go away and think about it and come back. You can call me. And I was like, no, I want a C-section. Yeah. So she was like, great. And she booked me in for the following week. And
which put you at then, you were full term already when you went in.
Yeah. So I didn't give birth. I had her at 39 plus 2.
Okay. So she was fully brood.
She was, yeah. So yeah, it was a pretty amazing experience. And then I remember like we were very much like, you pay for the package with the insurance, not with the insurance, sorry, with the hospital. So I think the bill came to like 7K Sing dollar.
Yeah. Which is actually not as bad as you hear about, or what you might read about, 7,000 for a C-section.
I've had friends in like private hospitals who have paid 20,000.
Yeah, I think that's what I would expect to pay if I was. Yeah.
So we were like, okay, that's great, but then if it goes extra.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't know. So we were quite pleasantly surprised. We were refunded $1,000 when we came out, which was great. Another add-on we had actually, because we obviously had no insurance for the birth. We also had no insurance in case of, so we did go and take it upon ourselves to get insurance in case there was any issues with the baby.
And I think that would be most people's main concerns.
Yeah.
You could think, I can afford to pay for the birth. Yeah. I can afford to pay for my prenatal appointments, but if the baby goes into neonatal ICU, and you don't plan, you can't. I mean, you don't expect these things, but you have to plan in case of like being in that position, and it's horrible to do. Yeah. But we did go and take out insurance, which covered me whilst I was pregnant, with any complications with the baby, more specifically. Yeah. But then as soon as the baby was born, Isla, it went straight onto her. So if there were any complication, and it covered like a wide range of things, she was covered. She was covered. And did you ever need to claim from that, or have you? So it's kind of been a just in case.
And we didn't want to.
No, of course.
We didn't want to, but yeah, we were quite happy that. Yeah. But it's just something to have peace in the back of your head that if anything happens, we're covered. Like,
definitely.
We're not going to be in a horrible position. Isla's made friends. But yeah, we were covered.
You were covered.
And yeah, it just gave us a lot of peace of mind.
For sure. And so had you done your own research to find, because I think I know a bit about insurance. And then when you told me last week, I was like jaw to the ground because I've never heard of this before. So did you do your own research to find it out, or did somebody?
Actually, I think I was telling you about Melanie last week. So we were actually out in Bove. It was like a baby store, and they had it was on the weekend, and they had this massive AIA insurance store, and we kind of stopped because we had been like raking through like friends, the internet, like everywhere for insurances like yourself, and we hadn't heard of anything like it. So we were like, it would be good to have something like that. And we stopped, and we were like talking to her, and she was like, yeah, well, we offer insurance, and it's for like post-birth. It covers the baby if they go to ICU. they're like fully covered, and we were like, this is amazing. Like, let's do this right now. So yeah, we did that.
So it kind of sold itself to you guys, because that's what you were looking for. I guess anyone that's already pregnant is probably not under any illusions that they're going to be able to take out an insurance policy that's going to suddenly cover everything. Probably not that realistic, but this was actually something that it seems pretty fair, because chances are you're not going to need to claim from it, but it's a good backup in case you do need to.
It. Yeah. Well, I had well, she's not my friend specifically, but she's a friend of a friend, and she went into hospital and she delivered, and the baby got stuck whilst having an birth. And this is at NUH, where you expect it to be a lot cheaper because it's a government hospital, and obviously the healthcare is phenomenal. But the baby got stuck, and she ended up having to go through labour, dilating to 10 centimeters, to then also go and have a C-section, and then the baby also had like I think the baby had to go into ICU, and
it's not an easy cesarean.
She didn't have like any pre-pregnancy insurance. She had moved from Dubai pregnant, similar to what I did. But when she had the baby here, the baby went into ICU, and their bill at the end was 50,000 Sing dollar, and like they didn't have like the money to cover it, and like, it's such a horrible position to be in, and like that was one of my like biggest fears. And had we not found an insurance, or you know, you'd just be constantly worrying about stuff like that.
At a time when you really need not to be.
And there is nobody in Singapore to be like, this is what you need. Like, if you need like this insurance, go here. If you need like, because there's different. She's in tears.
Oh no.
There's different levels of insurance, and we all have different needs.
And I've sometimes found, I mean, I've written an article for Pwrmums about this. I've had not the best experience with the brokers of, you give your specifications of I want this, they come back with quotes, but then I've gone and found better quotes by doing the research myself. So you always don't always feel like you can trust the information you're being presented as well. So Melanie was able to hook you up, and it's AIA, which is a local insurance. So pretty affordable. Can you remember?
I would say so. To be honest, I can't remember how much we paid.
But it wouldn't have been the like $5,000 Cigna plan kind of thing.
No, and it wasn't something that you had to pay. Like, I know, like most pregnancy plans, you have to.
Oh dear.
Let's say hello to Griffin.
Look where Griffin's hiding. Under my legs. He's being a very quiet boy.
Where was I?
So you can't remember exactly how much it was, but it was definitely affordable.
Yeah, it was affordable. And then I know that with most pregnancy plans, they require you to pay into them like 2 years prior to getting pregnant. So it was great finding an insurance where we obviously didn't have the time because we were already pregnant.
You cross your legs and hope she's late.
So yeah, we were quite lucky to find that. But yeah, I think it would be something that a lot of people would find beneficial.
Even if you have insurance, if you know that you've got a cap to your insurance. My insurance is not never ending. Mine has a limit. So for me to know that there's another policy out there that maybe could be a top up would also be really reassuring. So maybe I'll have a chit chat with Melanie as well.
Actually, it's really clever actually. So it started off as a plan in case there were any complications after birth. And now we've kept it on as a plan. We still pay into it as health insurance for her, but it also works as an investment plan. So you pay into it, and it covers like a lot of things. So that if in the future, say we get to 10 years time, we haven't claimed, we can take all that money back, and it also has returns. So it like over the year.
So they're investing that money that you're investing to them into like stocks and shares and things like that, and making a little bit back.
So then by the time she's in school, she can take it out and use it for that. So yeah, it's I think it's great. It's if you need it, you got it, and if you don't need it, you get that money back and more.
And so what's your stance on insurance now? Have you?
Well, actually, we actually all went for an insurance with AIA, the same Melanie. So we've got personal ones. So like we're fully comprehensive, just in case we get any. You just never know what could happen out here. And I think Singapore's quite hard if you've not got. I mean, Sam has work insurance which covers us, but it's not like fully comprehensive. So we went out and took our own. with AIA. And it's very similar to Isla's. You pay into it, you don't use it, you get the money back with returns. So I think it's great.
Yeah,
I definitely recommend it.
But despite being fully insured now, you're still Team NUH.
Yeah,
Dr. Citra.
I definitely would still go back to NUH. Actually, we're still, even though it covers like general health insurance, it still doesn't cover the birth. And the reason why I didn't, after Isla, opt for going and taking out pregnancy insurance was just because our whole birth came to 7K at NUH, and I was like blown away by like the service, the doctors, the healthcare, everything. It was just amazing. And it came to 7K, and then like I was looking at most insurances and they were coming out to like 9K. So it's just, I just saw it insignificant for me to go and put into an insurance. I mean, the main thing for me was having something that covered Isla afterwards, because that's not something that we could get insurance for. And it's obviously, it can be quite costly, even in a government hospital, if there is something wrong.
No, definitely. So now if you go for vaccinations or go for a GP visit, you're covered under your AI plan? Yeah. So you just keep your receipts and then you just claim it?
Claim it. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And thank you so much for sharing your story. I feel like we have so many more tangents we could go off.